Chaturi,
Yes, Bhante.
are you ready? Have you any questions?
Yes, we don't have a question in the chat right now, but there was a question last time that we didn't get a chance to address. So
Uh-huh.
it's not in the chat yet, but I saved it from last time, from last week. And the question is about the state of mind of a person when the person passes away. How does that affect the next birth? Like if a person dies and they are not afraid, they don't have a state of fear. What is their next rebirth? How does that affect their next birth?
Uh, that is also a good question. When a person dies while he's dying, he has no fear, but uh, the person who has done something before the last thought moment would come to the forefront, and according to that, he would take rebirth, and then if he has if he did not have greed, hatred, and delusion, at least temporarily suspended at the moment of death, he will be born in a very favorable state where that person, if meditated as a sansaric habit, can attain stream entry and so on. So that is called Ti He Tuka Patisandhi, birth with three wholesome roots. Three wholesome roots means non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion. If the person has eliminated them totally, completely, never to return again, he will not be born again. That is what one has to do in meditation, seeing impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and so on of all the aggregates, then he will say Netang Mama, Ne So Amasmi, Name So Atta. This is not mine, this I am not, this is not myself. If the person sees this with wisdom, then the person will be disenchanted with form, feeling, perception, thought, and consciousness. Disenchantment leads to uh, dispassionate. Without passion, he would not take birth. QnA, then he knows that my future birth is not come to be. QnA, the possibility of taking rebirth is exhausted, extinguished, gotten rid of, and Naparangitatai, there will not be any more rebirth. This is what happens to him if the person is born with three wholesome roots and meditate. Okay?
Bhante, the next question is, are there suttas describing how lay people can express the mundane level of the four Brahma Viharas?
Lay people, uh,
Can express the mundane level of the four Brahma
uh,
Viharas.
yes, Brahmavihara uh, can practice at two levels, as I mentioned last time, at mundane level and supramundane level. Any ordinary person practice loving kindness, compassion, appreciative joy, and equanimity, that person can live in peace and has those 11 benefits, sleeping well, getting up well, being pleasant to human beings, being pleasant to non-human beings. They will be protected by deities and will not be affected by greed, hatred, and delusion, the fire of greed, hatred, and delusion. And then he looks, he will die without confusion. And during that time, if he has not attained liberation, he will be reborn in Brahma realm. That is mundane level practice. In the supramundane level, one practice factors of enlightenment, viveka nishitam, viraga nishitam, nirodha nishitam, vasak parinami, mettam chittam bhaveti. It says, viveka nishitam, based on seclusion, physical seclusion and mental seclusion, viraga nishitam, based on non-passion, nirodha nishitam, based on cessation, Vasagga parinaming, ripening in attaining liberation, giving up. With this, on this basis, the person practices all the four Brahmaviharas, metta, karuna, mudita, upekka. That is his supramundane metta, Brahmavihara practice. And therefore, the end result is the total liberation from samsaric suffering. Other one has the possibility of mundane benefit, like sleeping well and so forth, even attaining, taking rebirth in Brahma realm is a mundane realm, mundane attainment. And then the other practice is supramundane attainment, which will end up in attaining total liberation. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is it possible to enjoy moment-to-moment experiences without clinging? And if so, can you please provide a specific example of this? So is it possible to enjoy moment-to-moment experiences in life but not cling to it?
Yes, it is possible without clinging to anything. One can, because one can see something rising and passing, rising and passing, rising and passing. So there is no moment for one to hold on to anything because nothing stays static. It's just passing. So one sees the series of momentary experiences. That is possible without knowing that you can do this. Example is paying attention to your whatever experience, feeling, for instance. The breath is best is rising, falling, rising, falling, and then if you stay with that, you will see the rising and falling all the time. And that time you enjoy the fact that nothing remains static. Everything is moving, your mind is moving, feelings moving, your perception moving, your thoughts are moving, consciousness is moving. You see this happening all the time. That is, that's possible. Yeah, okay?
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is if you could say something more about the word proliferation, typically used in order to translate the Pali word prapancha, as in the Anuruddha Sutta. Is it equivalent to the Sanskrit word prapancha?
There are three papanchas: Tanna papancha, Man papancha, Ditti papancha. The papancha means proliferation. You proliferate your craving through the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. You crave. You crave to see things. Trillions of things you want to see. You want to see people, places, situations, and so forth. See with eyes. And then increase your craving, desire through the eye, through the ears. You like to hear this and that and this and that and this and that all the time, music, talks, and conversations and so forth. They increase your desire. Then the smell. You want to smell this, and then increase your desire. You want to increase your taste through the tongue and increase your desire. You want to increase your touch. You want to touch this, that, human, animal, places, seats, airplanes, vehicles, and so forth. You want to have physical comfort, increasing your desire. That is tanha papancha. Tanha papancha. Uh, you see in uh, Madhupindika Sutta, Buddha explained this in very clearly. Actually, Bhavana explained it. Then Manapapancha. Manapapancha means conceit. You want to acquire this, and you want to be this person, this acquisition, that acquisition, in order to boost your ego. You want to be a prominent person. In that way, you increase your conceit, Manapapancha. Then Ditti Papancha. Ditti Papancha means you want to hold on to your notion of self, myself, I. In conversation, you hear the 99%, the word repeated 99% is I, is one single letter I. So these are the papanchas. Papancha means delaying your attainment. When you go on all these things, your attainment or liberation will postpone. You cannot attain liberation. And that kind of delaying tactic, delaying activities, in short, are called papancha. Papancha. Uh, so this is the very simple meaning.
And can you also say how it's an obstacle in meditation and how it's different from vichara vitaka?
Vitaka vicharo,
Yeah,
repeat.
how different?
Yeah,
How is that different from this? That's the second part of the question.
different from vitaka vichara.
Yes.
Okay, vitaka you can see in jhana practice. When you overcome five hindrances, uh, greed, hatred, restlessness, sorry, and doubt, sleepiness and drowsiness and so forth, uh, when you overcome hatred, you thought of loving friendliness will arise. When you overcome your greed, thought of letting go will arise. And therefore, vitaka is nekkama vitaka, avyapada vitaka, avinsa vitaka on wholesome side, unwholesome side, kama vitaka, vyapada vitaka, vihinsa vitaka. Vitaka means thought, thought. So, when you overcome hindrances, when you have hindrances, you have unwholesome thoughts. When you overcome hindrances, you have wholesome thought. In meditation, when you overcome, for instance, greed, you will free, you feel as if you are liberated from what you call slavery. And then you will be very happy. And so forth. Then this is your thought. And with this happiness, you gain concentration. So when you overcome the thought of greed, hatred, and delusion, you will have non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion, nekkhamma sankappa, avyapada sankappa, avinsa sankappa. Thought of letting go, thought of friendliness, thought of compassion. And then that lulls your mind. When everything subsided, that soothes your mind, make it very calm, relaxed and peaceful. That is your vitaka. Vichara means maintaining it, supporting it, sustaining it in the jhanic state, first, especially in the first jhanic state, when you have this vitaka thought of letting go, thought of friendliness, thought of compassion, and then you don't let it go. You want to maintain it. That maintenance of them is called vichara. Vichara. That is the meaning of these two terms, vitaka and vichara. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is, do arahants experience pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral feelings? Or are they all their experience of full equanimity?
Well, arahant experience niramisa sukha, niramisa dukkha, niramisa adukha padukha. And then they don't dwell upon any of them, even though they experience them. They don't stay with them, but always return to equanimity, equanimous state. They recognize spiritual pleasure, spiritual pain, spiritual equanimity, but he does not stay with the pleasant. For instance, when they sit on a very comfortable seat, definitely he feels the pleasantness of the comfort of the seat, but he knows that this feeling, this comfort is not permanent, this is impermanent. So he stays with this awareness of this impermanence. That means everything he experiences is impermanent. Therefore, he returns to his equanimous state. That is what even Anuruddha Sutta we discussed yesterday. He doesn't fall into any of these extremes, but he stays always in the equanimous state. I mentioned his robe may be made of a very rugged rag cloth, but since he is practicing the eight thought of great person, That rag robe he feels like a silk, Benares silk, very comfortable cloth. And yet he does not hold on to that feeling. He knows that this feeling is not permanent. This is not mine. This is not myself. This is another experience, just another experience. So he maintains equanimity. Even when he gives a sermon, some listen to it very mindfully. Uh, some some don't listen to it mindfully. Some will be scratching the floor, looking around, falling asleep, and still he remains equanimous. If everybody listens very mindfully and there is no anyone sleeping, still he gives the sermon with equanimous feeling. And so forth, he always returns to equanimity, which is the basis of his uh, mental state. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is the sutta we studied advised solitude and not delighting in the company of others, to dismiss company quickly. The question is for lay people, this may seem rude and abrasive to dismiss friends and company. How to balance this? How do we balance this? So basically, we are advised to seek solitude, but for lay people, it may be difficult to dismiss people. So, how do you balance the requirement for solitude and then the needs that are imposed on us by society as lay people?
Well, this uh, when they keep practicing meditation, they come to a certain level. At that level, they can maintain this solitude, right?
Yes, Bhante,
Sol-
solitude. Yes.
Solitude. And uh, this is the question that related to desire and non-desire. Uh, Generally, anybody who has not developed the mind has some attachment to persons or rejection of some people, and that's a normal behavior. And that is why they have to practice mindfulness and elevate their mental state where they can maintain this thought of solitude, attitude of solitude. And even in a conversation with a lot of people, the person will participate in the conversation. At the same time, in his mind, at the back of his mind, in his subconscious mind, he maintained, how can I how can I separate from these people? What time these people going to leave me alone, so that I can maintain my solitude, my quiet, private, calm, peaceful mental state. That is the thought the person always maintained while having conversation and discussion with people. You don't necessarily have to be a monastic to do that, but even layperson, what you are required to do is to elevate your mind to the degree of maintaining this quality through the practice of meditation. Because when you are meditating, You enjoy the benefit of meditation, results of meditation, more than any conversation with anybody. You may have conversation, jovial conversation. It is just passing time. Just, this gossip. I don't want to participate in that, but I cannot run away to hurt these people. People might think I'm a square, uh, don't fit the society, and therefore I just stay here. But uh, I want to maintain my extremely powerful, peaceful mental state. With that attitude, the person have discussion. So he doesn't have to become a monk. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is about the way that craving ceases. So there's the person is asking about the five bases where craving ceases, and he's saying in Mano there is more resistance. Is it a good thing to repeat it as it is? So can you please say more about the way craving ceases in relations to the various bases?
In relation to what?
The five bases, the way
Five bases,
craving, yeah,
five bases and five aggregates.
I think so. It's not specifically said, but I think if I understand the question, yes. And if there
The,
is one base, one aggregate where there is more resistance to craving, how do you deal with it?
uh, five, you to maintain the uh, what you call equanimity, or not to cling to any of them. uh, you have to see them with wisdom. Uh, the Buddha said, Sabbe Sankara Anicchati Yada Panyaya Pasyati Atha Nibbindati Dukkhe Esha Bhaggo Visuddhya Sabbe Dhamma Sabbe Sankara Dukkhati, like that. When one sees all conditioned things are impermanent, all conditioned things are unsatisfactory, all the Dhammas are without self. When one sees this wisdom, one would not become attached to anything, and one would become disenchanted with form, feeling, perception, thought, and consciousness. Now, this is this what has to do with wisdom. So, with seeing with wisdom means, as always, the Buddha explained the wisdom means udayabbe jnana, knowledge of rising and falling. Something arises, whatever is arisen passes away. Whatever is arisen passes away. In Pali, it is called ahutva sambhoti, hutva pativeti. Something that did not exist before comes into existence through the causes and conditions, and whatever came into existence through the causes and conditions passes away. So the five aggregates, form comes into existence through the causes and conditions, feeling, perception, thought, and consciousness, and we see them arising and passing away. That is how we become disenchanted with them and become dispassionate. Then only we can get rid of the desire, attachment to any of them. Our clinging to anything is because of our not seeing their truth as they are. Seeing things as they really are means seeing things as they are happening. Nothing is static. Everything is happening. Everything is in present continuous sense. Happening is happening, happening, happening. Nothing static. And we can see this. Uh, and when we see this, we can easily develop our non-clinging, non-attachment to any aggregate. As I mentioned several times already, of course, this doesn't happen very quickly. This needs a lot of training, mental training. That is the mental state that we have to develop. In various discourses Buddha has spoken, something uh, arises, and whatever is arisen passes away. And therefore, this normally, so long as we don't see this very clearly, we have some degree of attachment to our body, feeling, perceptions, and so forth. Once we develop this mental state, we can see the flux, movement, changing, impermanent. I think I don't know very much about science. If you, I think many of you have studied science in high school, colleges, and universities, and so forth. You know, in chemistry, when you see two chemicals put together, they change into something different. They always change. If they don't change, you cannot expect to get well. Once you are sick, you get some chemical in the form called medicine, and that medicine must change in order to change our physical conditions. So we don't see them, but we know the results. We feel the results. And therefore, changes is extremely subtle, and that is extremely true. That is happening all the time. What I say is in meditation you can see this. Everything is in the state of life, rising, falling, rising, falling. And therefore, there is no any moment gap between one moment to next moment to grab, hold on to, because they are fluxing, moving all the time. I think, friends, your question this time is good. And if you have uh, any question left over, you
Yes,
can ask
yes, we do.
tomorrow. And today at 3 o'clock, normally 3 o'clock we have Dhammapada stanza. I give the meaning of each word separately and then tell the story behind it and tell the lesson we can learn from the story, and that will start at 3 o'clock today. Few people come, and even if very few people come, I uh, play a record of reciting in a very melodical way, and then I recite it in my uh, crack drums sound, crack, crack bell sound, and then I repeat this, give the meaning, and then ask you to recite it. Uh, each of them, each of you participate in that recite so that you can be familiarized with the language, and it will stay perhaps in your mind. So with this, I'd like to end this session and we do meditation. We have about 25 minutes. Okay? Okay. All right. Let us practice meditation. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long or large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere, neither from anger nor ill will, should anyone wish harm to another. As the mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so, towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hatred or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desire for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. With this thought of loving friendliness, let us begin our meditation. We have at least 25 minutes. By means of this meritorious deed, may I never join with the foolish. May I join always with the wise until the time unattained Nibbana. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. From the highest realm of existence to the lowest, may all beings resident in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. This is the end of today's session, friends. I want to wish once again all those who are in hospitals suffering from various diseases, may they recover very soon and return to normal life, healthy life, so they can practice meditation and liberate from samsaric suffering, never to have a moment to be hospitalized. May all the doctors, nurses, hospital staffs who are taking care of these people also find time, in spite of their busy life, to practice Dhamma, practice meditation, and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May all those who have lost their loved ones may still be grieving. May they be free from grief and understand the nature of life and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May all those who are in various troubled spots, war zones, poverty-stricken, discrimination, and so on, also try to understand the nature of greed, hatred, and delusion, how harmful they are. Try to practice meditation and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May all those who are in the northern direction, northeastern direction, eastern direction, southeastern direction, southern direction, southwestern direction, western direction, northwestern direction, up and down below us, all of them be well, happy, and peaceful, and may they all attain Nibbana. That is the end of today's session, friends. As I mentioned, I know some of you join our afternoon 3 o'clock Dhammapada discussion, and if you like, interested, have time, I know I hope you make time to do that.
Yes, Bhante. Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu,
Thank
sadhu,
you,
sadhu.
Bhante.
Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante. Thank
Thank you
you,
very much, Bhante.
Tashiri.
Thank you,
Many
Bhante.
blessings
Sadhu,
to
sadhu.
you
Thank
and
you,
the
Bhante.
son.
Have a
Jai
good health.
Teruvan Saranai Swami
Soham
Maharaj.
Ping San.
Mary to
Terawan
you.
Saranai.
Hare Krishna.
Teruvan
Bhante.
Saranai.